Hey guys, this is how I scaled from $50,000 a month to almost $150,000 a month effectively in 4 to 5 months of time. I just want this video to serve as like documentation. Hey, here's a life update. I made a video about how I got my first client, made a video about how I retired my parents at 18. I was doing typical, infopreneur type videos. I don't know why I was doing that. It was probably because the consumer diet that I had. I used to still watch a lot of these info people, right, on YouTube. And honestly, I'm so past that era. Like, I look back at, some of my old videos and I look at them like, I didn't want to edit this. So why am I doing all this 3D bullshit? None of that matters. So I want to tell you everything. I launched technically a new business. We've made around $60,000 of revenue using that new business. We've made so many young kids, like 16, 14, 18-year-olds, made their first dollar online with the new business that I launched. And here are 1,000 screenshots of kids literally thanking us, giving them this opportunity to clip some of our shows, clip some of the clients that we work with, post them, get organic views. And if they get views, they get paid. So it's basically called clipping, if you don't know about it yet. And I want to talk to you about how I started that business, what it's done for me, and how I will make $1 million very soon in 3 months, 3 to 4 months, right? $83,000 a month is $1 million a year. That is an aspirational mark for a lot of entrepreneurs. When you hit 1 million ARR, that's like, hey, you're born. Welcome to entrepreneurship. Then there is another significant milestone. For me, it would be making $1 million cash collected in like 3 to 4 months. And clipping can make that possible. And this is not just so that I make more money. This can genuinely change the economy of this country. It can be the next Zomato in a way, eternal, because this is a way for people to make money from anywhere, and they can do a lot with this. So let's start with us being at around $50,000 a month. Lesson number one that really helped us scale at 1 million ARR was basically we closed another two clients. It was around $15,000 or $12,000 a month. We got 2-3 clients at that rate. And this is for podcasting services. We do end-to-end podcasting for a lot of VCs and tech companies. From that mark, what started happening is referrals. And this is something that a lot of young entrepreneurs who are before their 1 million ARR journey don't realize. Referrals, why does Alex Hormozi say that referrals are the most powerful thing ever? Like, referrals is how people grow their business. Even if you look at your uncle or your chacha, right? What are they saying? How do they get their business, their offline business? Like if they sell furniture or something like that, they get most of their business through word of mouth or referrals. And the same applies in online business. It just happens at scale. Referrals start coming when you have enough clients. 1 second, I got an email. Holy fuck. A billionaire just replied to me. 1 second. Okay. So as I was saying, a billionaire just replied to me. We have a call with a really, really, really big fintech company based internationally. They have a HQ in Tokyo, Bangalore, SF, Shenzhen, Beijing, everywhere. Really big fintech. And we have a call directly with their CEO, multi-billionaire. And that is booked for Monday, Singapore time. So, fuck. Dude, that is actually massive. And this is also for clipping. And this ties into how I will literally attach a screenshot of when the email came and when I am recording. It is, look at the time, okay? I'm going to also send you like a quick screenshot. Fuck yes. But let me tell you about the referrals. So the way you get referrals is by doing good work. There are two things that need to happen for you to get massive referrals and for you to scale that fast. Okay, if you want to scale insanely fast, you need referrals. This is one of the most important ways we got from 50K to 83K and then from 83K to 150K cash collected really quickly. You need to do good work for a sustained period of time. And then most people quit before they are in the game for long enough for it to matter. People and first-time entrepreneurs especially, they pivot too quickly from one thing to another. In Bali with Arthur, he said this one thing that what do you think an agency or a service-based business has, like the one thing that they have that matters the most, which is like 90% of the enterprise value. It is when someone thinks that, hey, I want to get a podcast done, and let's say they're in the VC or the tech space, who do they think of? If they think of us, that's it. That's all that matters. And the way you do that is by not by doing some fancy marketing, because as Atomic Growth, we've never done marketing. In fact, we're a sales call with a top 5, top 3 business podcast, and we closed them. And one of the first things the person said to us in the call, a co-host, he said, guys, you might be like, I've gotten 1,000 emails because they tweeted out that they're looking for a new podcast partner, right? And this person has hundreds of thousands of followers on X, and they tweeted out something along the lines of, hey, I'm looking for a new, person. He was looking for an individual to help him with podcasting. And I still shot my shot. I sent a really custom cold email, and it worked. He replied. Then he asked us, what are the 3 biggest things that you would change if we were to work with you? And then I gave him like a really good answer, I believe. We hopped on a call, and he was like, guys, you do the best work out of everyone, but I've never fucking heard of you guys. How is that possible? And we're like, yeah, even I don't know why. Maybe that's going to be a focus for me next year to change, right? Like actually do some marketing, make people hear about us. But the thing is, you don't need to do fancy marketing to scale. That's one thing. You need to do good work for relevant people. That is the most important thing if you want to genuinely scale. And that is why you've got to sacrifice margins as a service business. You cannot be underpaying people because you need a team who is insanely motivated, who is insanely talented as well to deliver services. Because at the end of the day, all you're really doing is delivering services. You need to do that really fucking well and get results. And you cannot be making a lot of money in your initial days. Every time I used to say, I run a 50K MRR agency. I was taking less than $10,000 a month home. Did anyone know that? No. One of the things we did, which I'm so glad about, is that we sacrificed so much profit to recruit the best people, to make more content. And my content itself is just a massive hiring funnel. I don't do anything else with this shit. This camera, this video itself might get me my next hire. Might get me another podcast project manager. Might get me another fucking thumbnail designer, which we're hiring for, by the way. All my content has done for me, and it is the best thing ever. And that's why we exist today. There's a lot of things that need to go right for you to find success in business, right? You need to do good work so that you get referrals, right? Ultimate point over here is referrals. But to get referrals, you need to do good work. To do good work, you need great talent. And my entire talent funnel has been making content. That ended up working for me. That was the combination. And then there's another thing that content did for me, which I will get to in a second, right? But key lesson is be in the game for long enough so that when someone thinks of someone else or they ask their friend, because that also happens often. If I'm a venture capitalist and I ask my other friend who's also a venture capitalist at a podcast, hey, I want to start a podcast, man. I saw your podcast. It's really fucking good. Who do you work with? You should be the person that comes to their name. You should be the one who's getting referrals. You should be the one that when people are deliberately searching, who does the podcast production for this one podcast, right? You come up because that's what matters. That is enterprise value. Okay. Then you need referrals, you need great talent. And then the next thing, you need fucking tenacity. Let me tell you a story of how I made $60,000 in 3 months. In around 3 months, 3 to 4 months, with a new business segment that we launched. So traditionally, we were a podcasting agency, man. And honestly, I was even thinking after reaching 83 or 100K MRR that what are we doing? Like, I don't want to be doing this shit anymore. We have decent margin now. I'm making enough money, but what is all this for? Ultimately, I just feel like a barber shop. All we're doing is people are coming in, we're cutting their hair, we're getting paid, job done. That's not what I want to be. I want to build rockets. I want to make $1 million. I want to make a lot more than $1 million, right? And that's personal motivation. And the second is like to actually do something aspirational and to build a generational company. That's just a few things that I know I'm going to do. I don't think a podcasting agency can be a generational company, but perhaps a tech media agency can. So since then, we've expanded our scope of like what all we provide, like our suite, into 3 different things. 1, podcasts end to end. 2, clipping. That is community distribution. And 3 is we have an AI studio now, which I will also talk about. So, number 2, clipping. One of our podcast clients, Henrique Dubugra, he's the co-founder of a $12 billion fintech, right? And what he did, we were working on his podcast called HD. It's one of our end-to-end podcasts. He really wanted to go viral on like TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts. He really wanted like his clips to work. And then, we were doing short form content for him. We did have like a video reach like 800K views. But then again, with a new podcast, it's difficult to get a lot of views like initially. So he wanted someone to build an army or like have 1,000 people distribute clips for him. So he went to this other agency. What they do is they release bounties to the public, like, hey, here I have a community of, let's say, 20,000 people, and then they go and they put up a bounty that, hey, we got a podcast. If you get them 1 million views, you get $1,000 or whatever seems cost per mil. And we didn't have that capability. And all of this, I saw that the competitor agency, they were doing this through a Discord bot. So then in the next week, I went ham. I was going crazy because I'm like, oh my God, are we going to lose them as a podcast client? I don't want that to happen. What is this new business? Can this replace us?
Some bad news. One of our clients at Atomik actually just partnered up or is in talks with like a clipping agency. They have like a public Discord server and they have creators that partner with them, and then people can basically clip their content. They give the raw footage of the creator and then they basically distribute it.
And I was getting all types of shit, and I'm like, yikes. And at this point, luckily, I had delegated and hired such good people in my podcasting business that, I do have some time of my own, right? So then I go heads down for a week, hammering at it, working through a beehive in Kormangla every single day, working all day, all night, and I had something working by the end of the week. We made a Discord bot. We didn't make a Discord bot. We got in touch with someone who has a Discord bot. We launched version 1 of Atomik Clips. Now, here's a key lesson. Because of the fact that that client was doing it with someone else, right? Like, I wanted to show him that we can do this, but like better, right? Like, you're our client, right? I don't want to lose them, of course. And now that I look back at it, we weren't in any position to lose them because we do with their podcasting. And then someone else was doing like that whole mass clipping for him, right? TLDR, we put $2,000 of our own money. We gave it to our own community. I put up an Instagram reel that was saying something around, something along the lines of, hey, I'm giving away 3 lakhs. No, I'm giving away 4 lakh rupees for you to clip up our podcast clients' videos. You upload it, we give you the material, you edit, you upload. If you get views, we give you a bounty, right? Like we give you money directly to your Indian bank account. So that's what we did. I got 2,000 members on a Discord server initially. We had a Discord bot. We were running this. We ran 2 campaigns for 2 different podcasts, and both of them, it fucking ripped. We got so many views. And at that moment, my entire perception of what I'm doing changed. And at that time, we didn't even know how to price this stuff. So we were pricing simply like a flat 20% margin afterwards, right? Because after we gave them the results for the $2,000 each campaign, I think we got like 10 million views for $2,000 fucking dollars. Can you believe that? So across socials, we created new social media accounts. So for HD, it was like HD podcast, HD moments, best of HD. So many. We created around 300, 400 new social media accounts through our Discord server. And it was great. It fucking ripped. It got so many views. Then obviously Henrique wanted more. So then, we this time, however, we priced him around 20% additional. So this time we actually make a bit of money. And the first campaign he launched was for $5,000, and we only added so we gave the community $4,000 and only took $1,000. So we're still massively technically in a loss, even though our agency itself, podcasting side, is profitable. So we're not in a loss. So then we got Henrique again as a client. Then we learn how to price things correctly. So instead of doing, let's say instead of doing 20% on top, what we do is we have 2 CPMs. We have an external CPM, what the client will get charged, right? So we don't charge for anything. We don't charge management fee or anything. We basically sell views in the clipping side. Like, hey, okay, you want 10 million views? Okay, we'll charge you $15,000 or $20,000 or $30,000, whatever it is. And then we decide how to distribute that money to our community to achieve the desired end view count. So if the goal is 10 million views, we might give our community 10K, maybe 7.5, maybe 15, depending on the difficulty of the campaign. But that is decided by us. So now we have healthy margin. We figured out how to do this. And then for the larger campaigns, we fly in and record the content because we did that. Arthur did that. Arthur flew to New York because he was in Canada for a wedding. So New York was really close. He went down, he recorded a 2 hour conversation with Enrique, just asking him the juiciest questions and telling him how to read things, how to, say stuff like this. So then that campaign got like 15 million views again. And it's, I have such conviction in the product now because Arthur was in Colombia again with some of his entrepreneur friends. He was in the middle of a farm and he was like, I have this new idea. And that idea, he got that from that reel that our community posted. And then when Arthur showed him that exact reel, he's like, yeah. And Arthur's like, dude, we made and distributed this. Arthur was the one who asked Enrique the same question. So the product is great. I've never had so much more conviction in such a product. Like, I am all in. This shit's going to fucking work, and watch it work. So that was done. And then from there, we got the idea that, listen, this shit can be big. We hired a CTO, not exactly a CTO, but right now we have an engineer. They're getting paid like a 6-figure salary. They live in the US. And we built out a full platform. So now we are off Discord. We are a full platform, app.atomicgrowth.com. And we're going for Project 100. We want to deliver 100 million views to a tech company. And, if you price that at a $3 CPM, that's $300,000 for us, 100 to $150,000 for the community. And that's like a crore a month in a bounty that we're giving to the community. If even 100 people claim the most, that's $1 a person each. That is significant. This can genuinely change the way the world works. Like, at least like, gig jobs. It can change how gig jobs work. It can, like, Ola drivers, etc. If they start scrolling reels, if they have a sense for, but more applicable, I feel like this is for like school students and college students. When they get back home, they have a side hustle to work on. Even people who have full-time jobs, right? After they're back home from their jobs, they can be earning. And then these views reach the right audiences. It automatically reaches because of the algorithms. We were cracking like 30-40% US audiences. So Project 100 deliver 100 million views to a tech company. We did reverse math to determine the startup ecosystem, which is 3.8 million people in the US. 7 impressions are, we need around 88.8 million views to get that, to penetrate the entire audience at a 30% demographic rate. So we rounded that up to 100 million views, and now we're talking to several companies to get that done. That is clipping. That is our plan. That is my North Star for the next year. We've had calls with some really, really, really the biggest companies that you hear of, publicly traded, etc. The next thing is the AI studio. We want to get into launch videos. We want to do product videos because now we have capabilities to do so. Turns out by making insanely good podcast trailers and, making AI videos, you also end up becoming really good at just video. So why not do launch videos for which these startups are being charged $250,000. I've seen the quotes. They're being charged $250,000 for a 2 to 3 minute launch video, brother. What the fuck? Do you know how much money there is out there? So yeah, honestly, we're nothing right now. $150,000 cash collected is absolutely nothing. And gotta stay humble, gotta stay grounded, gotta dream big. Clipping is the future of this agency. I genuinely believe that. Even though we have the best podcasting clients roster in this world, we are the #1 podcasting agency. I can proudly say that now, that we are the best at podcasting in the world. And it's only going to get better. Best at podcasting as an agency. I'm sure there are individuals who are better than us. You cannot get complacent when you are winning. We got to keep our foot in the gas pedal, and clipping might be the future. I think I see something early, and I don't think a lot of companies see this. All in. So those are life updates from my side. I'm also wanting to I'm going to SF for 2 months, January and February. And in December, I'm actually going to be traveling quite a bit. I might be going to Egypt. And then after that, I might have Arthur come to India along with another friend of ours, Kareem. So I'm going to be doing some travel logging real quick and then heads down in SF for 2 months. I'm super excited for that. I'm going to meet all our clients. This is the best part about doing work like this, doing remote work, is to go there, feel it, different cultures, different experiences. So fucking fun. So yeah, I'm super excited. I hope you can share some of this excitement with me. That's why I've been a little MIA, and that's why content has been on the back burner. I hope you got something to learn. This was honestly a big fucking ramble from my side, and yeah, peace.